Hello, Audioholics. This is Logan, and welcome back to Album Reviews on Audioholics Anonymous. Today, we will be reviewing L.W. by King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. And here to help me with that is King Gizzard and the Liler Weiler.
Okay, so I know who the Liler Weiler is, but who's the other one, and
Oh,
where
he's the
are
guy
they?
that's always, fucking a Rottweiler.
Oh, that guy. Okay,
Yeah, that guy.
all right, gotcha. Well, we're just
He's a
gonna
real pig
ignore what he's
styler.
doing. He can just do his thing in the background.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, we're reviewing King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, and this was a surprise for me personally. I was not expecting to like this album as much as I did. I didn't really have much expectations for it because I don't really have a history with the band.
Me neither.
Yeah, we've never heard an album by them before. We've heard that they're very good, but we just never gave them a chance. So we have today, and we'll just get right into it. So starting off with the vocals. So the vocals on this album, I said, are just really weird, very weird beast. At times they're dark and heavy, with songs such as Plura. Other times super atmospheric, and they complement the mood. On songs more like "If Not Now Then When," which was the opener. Just such versatility on this record with the vocals. It's not bereft of hooks though. There are songs like Supreme Ascendancy, which will stick in your head, make no mistake about that. That said, sometimes the vocals were kind of just there. In those moments, they don't really add all that much to the music, but that is pretty rare, so I'm not going to take off too much for that.
Are you done?
Yeah,
You could have well, I mean, look, of course the vocals are good. I mean, like a band employing four members and fucking up the vocals, that would be pretty pathetic. I mean, Stu, Ambrose, Cook, Craig, and Joey Walker, sorry, I'm just reading off of notes, are all put they all put on a very solid performance. The only reason it is not necessarily perfect is while it fits the psychedelic atmosphere and while I would prefer not to have or while I would prefer to have this, there is a lot of reverb and like vocal effects which you could argue kind of takes away from the genuinely good vocals. That's a small nitpick though. So now on to instrumentation, Tyler.
honestly, where to even start with the
Yeah.
instrumentals with this album? I mean, tell you what though, if somebody were to ask me, what's a 10 out of 10 album to you instrumentally? This would be the first thing that comes to mind. It's just such a unique sound, such intricate and versatile instrumentation throughout the whole record. Instrumental variety out the ass, and mastery in the use of each and every instrument is the very thing that characterizes this album and its sound. So
Yeah.
I think that it's definitely one of the best aspects of the album.
Yeah, I would say this is the highlight of the album as well. Michael Kavanagh is a true genius with percussion, and the album implores a wide variety of unique instruments, all of which are played very well. I mean, you have what I like just so much like musical variety.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's really no shortage of variety on this album. Every single
yeah,
song is something different and you never really know what to expect. And that leads us
yeah.
right into the songwriting section, which is where I'm going to just straight up tell you this is, in my opinion, a psychedelic progressive masterpiece of the modern age. This album can go from sounding like Zappa to Gentle Giant to the Beatles, and yet it still maintains a sense of coherence throughout the
And
entire length
originality.
of
Like,
the
can you
album.
really think of an album that quite sounds like this?
No, no, they wear their influences on their sleeves, but
Sure.
they have a sound that's completely their own. The compositions are particularly well thought out. I particularly love the microtonal and Middle Eastern fills sprinkled throughout the record. Static Electricity in particular is just mind blowing to me. But yeah, the songwriting on this album is fantastic. Probably my favorite aspect of the album is the songwriting.
Yeah, so simply put, the songwriting is fantastic. All of the good vocals and the unique instrumentation, that would amount to nothing if they weren't composed well, and King Gizzard ensures that is not the case. My biggest issue is that there really aren't any songs I can point to that really stand out on their own. I think all of the songs work the best in the context of an album, similar to psychedelic bands like Pink Floyd, but at least with Pink Floyd, you theoretically can listen to songs on their own. Like, you can hear Money on the radio and it sounds like a coherent song. You're just missing the full experience by not listening to it on an album. I don't think there is a single song you could ever put on any radio station and have it stand out on its own on this album. And that's my biggest criticism. So I took a point off for that, but otherwise, I mean, like he said, this is a modern day masterpiece. And if this is representative of their career, I would be honored to go back and look at what else they've done.
So that brings us to our final section, personal enjoyment. So
personal
how did we
enjoyment.
personally like the albums? Personally, I absolutely love the journey of this record. When I looked at the track listing and realized that it was almost over, only like 4 songs left, I was so disappointed. I was like, can we just start the album over again so it's not over yet? This album is a mind-blowing psychedelic journey, and I can tell you right now, if this isn't in my top 3 at the end of the year, I will be shocked. Absolutely shocked. And so my final score for the album is a 9.8 out of 10.
My final score is a 9.5 out of 10. But to go to personal experience real quick, this is my first time really listening to King Gizzard, as I said, and I have no idea why I slept on this band for so long. If this album is anything to go by, it just checks all of the boxes. And my only regret really is not listening to them earlier. In fact, the biggest complaint I have with the album is that while it's by no means an EP, it is still only 45 minutes long. And I would have preferred it to be too short than to be too long and have it risk dragging. But when you have this much good music, you want
Can't
more
help
of
but want
it.
more of
It's
it.
like
Yeah.
it's like it's like eating like the best slice of Manhattan pizza. You always just want more, 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 more.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I can't wait to see what the band does next. But for now, we'll go back and we'll listen to some of those older albums and hopefully become aficionados of the King Gizzard catalog.
And maybe we'll do getting into on a wrong opinion at some point.
Yeah, that could be fun.
Yeah.
But for the time being, we give the King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard album L.W. a 9.7 on the Audioholic scale.
Yeah. I mean, look, if you want, like I said, just a straight up psychedelic masterpiece, look no further. You have bands that are doing, I guess, psychedelic stuff nowadays. You have Tame Impala. You have, I guess you could argue, Vampire Weekend to an extent. Nothing really does it the way King Gizzard does, though. And
yeah, I agree.
And as well as like adding kind of funk elements. This almost reminds me of like Mr. Bungle, but a little bit more mainstream.
Yeah, in a lot of ways I can see that comparison.
Yeah. So, what did you think of this album? Let us know in the comments section below. Do you think we're right? Do you think we're wrong? Do you think you are completely full of shit? Please don't say yes. Anyway, this has been Logan and Tyler bidding you audio 2.
Bye-bye.
Bye, asshole.